before I came up here, I remember TEDx saying that we all struggle with things. For some, it's a six-pack. And for me personally, it's this. It's my family pack, as I call it. I'm going to be talking about food. I don't know how many of you like food, but I love food. Coming here this morning, I was excited because I knew those moist cupcakes would be outside during the break. First of all, I'd like to start with a question. How many of you plan to go to university in the next year? Show of hands. That's most of you. So when you do go to university, you'll be possibly leaving home for the first time. And when you leave home for the first time, you'll have a wide variety of food options. There'll be a lot of things you can eat and a lot of things that you can try. But I'd like to now introduce the concept of the freshman 15. This is a concept whereby freshmen in college within their first year gain 15 pounds, or the equivalent of 7 kilos. Now, throughout the course of this presentation, I'd like you to pay as much attention as possible, although I know it's late and most of you are already getting tired. But I also want to explore those elements that give you a healthy life, that can ensure that you have a longer, more fulfilling life. I want you to pay attention to what it is that goes into your body, what you put in. Because at the end of the day, you have only one body. And that if something does happen to it, although we have modern medicine, it becomes difficult to correct. If we take the population of Qatar, it's 1.7 million people from the census data I was able to find. If we then divide it between male and female, we have 1.3 million males and 400,000 females. If we then zoom into our demographic, that's us right here, which is 16 to 24, there are 310,000 males or boys and 180,000 girls. So then, if we take a random sample of 10 people from this demographic I just mentioned, 7 of them would be overweight. And out of those 7 of them, 3 of them would be obese. So before I get into anything serious, I want to talk about a normal activity. How many of you have watched a movie within the last week or so? All right, that's most of you. So you know that when you watch a movie, you have to have popcorn and a soda. And if you're feeling adventurous, you get water. I want to talk about popcorn in terms of corn and the soda in terms of sugar, to mention where these problems lie. First of all, corn. Corn is a fantastic vegetable. But the problem is, it's in almost everything that we eat. If we zoom into what corn is used for, it's in toothpaste, it's in shampoo, it's in foods in terms of sugar, it's in peanut butter, it's in cosmetics, putting corn on your face. Then I'd like to talk about soda. People say soda is bad. You know, parents are all like, oh, you shouldn't drink soda, it's not good for you, there's so much sugar in it. But why is it a problem? Why is sugar a problem? For example, if you want to have tea, and you have a cup of tea, if you want it to be really sweet, you put about 3 teaspoons maybe, or if you want, you can put more. But in a can of soda, an average can of soda, you don't have 3 teaspoons or 6 teaspoons, you have 9 teaspoons of sugar. It's about 34 grams of sugar in one can, which is about the same volume. So if you have 2 sodas every day for a month, you're going to have had 2 kilograms of sugar. That's what I brought with me, 2 kilos of sugar. No big deal. So is this a big value? Is this a small value? I want to introduce a daily allowance. This is the amount of salt, fat, sugar, and other things that you should put in your body on a daily basis in order to have a healthy lifestyle. So I'm now going to walk through a typical day, any random day. You wake up in the morning, you have orange juice. Feeling a bit tired, you have coffee. You go out for lunch with your friends, have a burger, fries, and a soda. You want a snack, you have chips and a chocolate bar. And then you come back home and your mom's angry because you haven't eaten well all day and she gives you pasta. And then you remember that you have homework you didn't do, so you decide to drink an energy drink. So if we now look at how much salt, fat, and sugar was in that compared to the daily allowance, we'll see that we have about twice the fat and sugar that we should have on a normal daily basis. And let's be honest, who has 1 can of soda? So then you might be wondering, why is this a problem? One reason is if we then take the sample of 10 that I mentioned before, and 7 of them develop this dietary-related illness, you'll have 3 people taking care of 7 people. And it's not necessarily that it's a friend. It could be your father, your mother, a cousin, or even your uncle. Another thing is headaches. I don't know how many of you have frequent headaches, but the first thing you think of when you have a headache is to take Advil. The thing is, or Panadol. The thing is, it could just be that you're dehydrated. The body is 70% water, and when you put all this salt, fat, and sugar into your body, it becomes saturated with these things. And as a result, your brain cannot work as well as it should, and you develop a headache. This is the cause of about 30% of headaches with our demographic. The next thing is life expectancy. If you live in Qatar, the life expectancy average between male and female is 75 years. With a dietary-related illness, you can take off at least 10 years, leaving you with 65 years, essentially. I don't know how many of you think 10 years is a short period of time, but that's about half the life you've lived right now that you will not be able to live when you get older, just because of how you're eating. Another thing is general health. I do not take stairs. Well, I used to not take stairs. I dread stairs. By the time I get up, I feel like I have run a marathon. I am tired, dead tired. And as our generation, if we want to aspire to be like Nikola Tesla or the next Felix, it is too early for us to be this weak, for us to not be able to go out and do physical activity because of how we'll feel at the end of it. And then now I'd like to introduce internal fat, because most people think of someone unhealthy being a big person. But you could be big or small and have the exact same problem, because your fat can be on the inside. So then, why is this a problem in this region? Well, it's a problem in a lot of regions around the world, but this region has a lot of focus because it's still developing. Over a short period of time, we've gone from a rather rural settlement to a rather urban settlement, and there is fast food popping up everywhere. And people want to try these things. Food is wonderful. And now that I've scared you with all this information, you might be wondering, what can you do? Like, what can I as a person do in order to live a healthier lifestyle? One thing is be conscious of things that are packaged. For example, if you want to have orange juice, it's much easier for you to buy a pack at the store. On the pack, it'd probably say that this orange juice is fresh, it's freshly squeezed, it was never frozen, things like that. But then one thing you have to think of, if you ever have real orange juice, you would realize that every single container you take tastes different, right? So then if this packaged orange juice is really as fresh as they say, how does every single bottle taste the exact same? Another thing I like to talk about is when you have the choice of food options. Out of these 4 options, how many of you think the pasta is the best option? Show of hands. How about the burger? The pizza? How about the salad? There we go, salad people. The sad thing is that in this particular arrangement of these 4, the burger is actually the best option. I'm sorry, salad people. You have to be conscious of what you put on as an additive. The pizza has extra toppings. The salad has a lot of dressing. The pasta has a lot of grease in the sauce. And although the burger isn't really the healthiest, compared to these 4, this is actually the healthiest option. Another thing is reading packaging labels. If you want to have a snack and you have a choice between one option and another, which one do you choose? Before, I used to be afraid of nutrition labels because there's a lot of information, a lot of numbers, and a lot of big words on it. But the big things you're looking for are salt, fat, and sugar. If we compare the chips and the crackers and we want to make a choice, from this particular arrangement, the chips are the better option. Although in this particular option, the crackers have less calories, the sodium is the big thing. Because you have a small amount of sodium or salt you can have in a day, sodium is the big key in this particular example. So then, you might be wondering, why is this relevant to me? Why do I care? Why did I even come up here to give this talk in the first place? The reason is over the last summer, which was from about August till now, I've lost 4 inches off my waistline, and I've lost about 6 kilos. Thank you. And how this happened was just because I was conscious of what I was eating. And it is difficult. I slipped up many times. Last night I went out and had KFC because I just couldn't take it. But one thing I have come to realize, and that I'm now happy with, is I feel much healthier. I feel better. I used to be afraid of stairs, but now I would take stairs. Only one flight, but I would try and take stairs. Another thing is self-confidence. Before, I would never actually go to a store to buy clothes like with friends because I'm afraid that my size would not be there, which normally it isn't. But what I'm wearing right now, This is my first pair of skinny jeans. What I'm wearing right now, I was able to get in a store, like right off the rack, and I was so shocked by this. This is the biggest size, by the way. So before I end, I don't know how many of you are still paying attention, but do not forget, pay attention to what you eat. Pay attention to what you put into your body. Each of us have only one body, and if something does go wrong with it, it is difficult to fix. Thank you very much.